Hello everybody, my name is Adam Bergman and this is Adam Bergman's Money Makers. First and foremost, before we get into all the formals, I wanted to give you guys the biggest formal of this video, a huge formal. Thank you so much and I appreciate every single which one of you. I couldn't make this channel what it is today without you, especially the people in the back. You guys are my true heroes. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Today, you know I gotta talk about my favorite company, Palantir, ticker symbol PLTR. Palantir is showing up a lot of big business, specifically international business. And as we all know, Palantir is definitely missing that huge international push. But I'm gonna get to the numbers in just a moment. In January 4th, they signed a $25 million deal with Hyundai Heavy Incorporated. Hyundai Heavy Incorporated is a business run out of South Korea, and they essentially have 4 core business divisions. The first one is the shipping business, offshore engineering business, industrial plant and engineering business, and of course, engine and machinery. They also have 5 subsidiaries or non-core business divisions that fall into the category of Hyundai Electric and Energy Systems, Hyundai Construction Equipment, Hyundai Robotics, Hyundai Global Services, and of course, Hyundai Industries Green Energy. As you can see, there is a huge opportunity for data analytics, and it seems like data analytics is the key to this business because besides for their 4 main divisions, they're doing 5 non-main divisions. That's a total of 9 core and non-core divisions. The data is immense. And as I said before, what Palantir does, it builds an entire data platform, which allows you to coordinate between different parts of your businesses. And sometimes it coordinates between different parts of your business without you even knowing that you had a need for that coordination. That partnership was announced on January 4th. It was an interview with our CEO, and he spoke about this partnership and the importance of this partnership as it gives us a taste for more international business. Because if you look at the financials from the last quarter, Palantir grew a total of 200% for the commercial business in total. However, although the U.S. domestic commercial business grew by about 371%, the international business only grew by 107%. And although that is still very good, you can see that that's significantly lopsided. Now, the geopolitical tension right now that's happening in Europe is definitely going to funnel in new international businesses for Palantir, but that's focusing on Europe. Now we got a whole different market, South Korea. And if you can make a huge company like Hyundai Heavy more prosperous or make them make more money or make them less inefficient, that is fantastic for the headlines and definitely going to help Palantir to move into South Korea. South Korea is a huge marketplace. South Korea is essentially a mini United States. No disrespect to anybody, I don't mean that in a bad way, but they are a major industrial hub and they are a major ally of the United States. I wanted to play you this video right now and then I'm going to give you some commentary maybe as the video is going or after the video, but it's very important that you hear interviews like this. Interviews like this can give you key insights to what's going to happen in the future. Palantir has been doing a fantastic job with getting in front of the camera and giving you guys insight into what is happening, what will happen, and maybe give you some clues that they didn't even expect to give you. But the more that they are on camera and the more that they break down this very, very boring, complex AI data analytics that nobody understands what the heck they're talking about and break it down into easy little segments that's digestible, the more the stock price is going to go up at the end and the more people are going to invest in the company. Check out this clip.
So, Sham, how will this partnership work?
Thank you for having me, Emily. Yeah, this partnership is very exciting. It represents our first major expansion into Korea here. We're working with Hyundai Heavy here to drive the digital transformation of their entire business. This is the largest shipbuilder in the world. Just true feats of engineering, the scales of these ships that they're producing, a new ship every 8 months, and everything from how do I produce these ships better, faster, cheaper? How do I manage them in the aftermarket once we've sold them? And I think perhaps most excitingly, how do we introduce autonomy into ship transportation today? 80% of...
All right, did you hear what you just said? A new ship every single 8 months. And it's not just about making their company more efficient, it's also about what happens and how do you get it actually to the market. And most importantly, as he said, the autonomy of it. Because the more that the company can do by itself without the interaction of humans or intervention of humans or less interaction and intervention, that means the company becomes that much more effective. What do I mean by that? Again, forget about the raw data. You need processed data and anticipated data, thinking already for you what needs to be done next. That is quite literally the definition of autonomy, getting things done without you putting your input into it, because it's machine learning, AI, data analytics. This all correlates to each other.
All accidents are actually human error, and this is a big opportunity for the world, for commerce, for economies.
What does this mean for Palantir's business, and how will it help you expand internationally?
Well, it really builds on our track record of working with industrial companies. You know, I would say Skywise, the aviation ecosystem that we built with Airbus, was quite revolutionary. It brought together the 15 largest suppliers in aviation with 150 airlines. It generates billions of dollars of value for the aviation ecosystem. We brought that to automotive, and we're super excited to bring that to the shipping industry, both on the manufacturing of.
Guys, I just wanted to say that it's publicly known that Airbus said that they saved several hundred millions, with an S, dollar savings since using Palantir. And just understand the massive scope of work that Palantir did. Listen to what the guy has to say, how he took 15 different businesses, put them all together. Guys, Palantir is an absolute beast, a beast. Palantir for data, Palantir for businesses today is the same thing as a production line was when it first came out. Production lines is a huge part of businesses because it automates the process. It makes things easier, faster, more efficient. And that's exactly what Palantir does by using their AI data analytics software and platform to save businesses time, to make it more automated, to make it less intrusive, and just make things a little bit smoother. So they were in the airline business, then they were in the automotive business, and now they're in the shipping business or the boat business. This is absolutely massive, and I don't think people are understanding how powerful this is for Palantir and how powerful this is for Palantir's partners.
Ships, but also the transportation, the execution, the operation of these vessels as well, and all the participants in that ecosystem.
Well, and speaking of manufacturing, how are supply chain pains impacting Palantir and impacting your clients, given the number of industries that you touch, including now building ships?
As you know, Emily, we work across 40 different industries, and we've had a big role in helping companies with supply chains from the very beginning of the pandemic.
Guys, they work across 40 different industries, and there's 40 impact studies for these 40 different indices, which I started reading on the Palantir website. There is such a robust amount of information on that website that I can live 2 lifetimes and still not get through that website. 40 different industries. And now he's going to start talking about the supply lines. He's probably going to bring up COVID response because they definitely helped America and the United Kingdoms with the COVID response and supply chain issues.
Like helping 3M produce PPE, helping keep hospitals open and running. One of the interesting realities now with Omicron is that you're seeing that it's not just about part availability, it's about people availability. You see that hospitals are struggling to have full levels of staffing. And that is actually, in a holistic sense, a supply chain problem. So we are helping people manage parts and people together. And I think a big part of that is companies are realizing that these kind of cute sayings of just in time or just in case, these are just cute sayings. The reality is that managing your supply chain is a software problem. And we are bringing that software to the front lines to help them do that.
You actually have a partnership with Merck to try to address some of these issues, the chip shortage in particular. What are you learning from that?
Yeah, Merck is one of the largest suppliers of material to the semiconductor industry. And clearly the crisis in semiconductors now, we've worked with industrial companies as they kind of work around this. But Merck and Palantir are joining forces to address the problem head on, really thinking about how we optimize quality and yield and get the most out of the chips that we are producing, the silicon we are making, and get them to the most effective places. And part of being at CES for us here is to meet with the semiconductor.
They're going to tackle the problem and not work around the problem. It's very, very important to understand that. They're not trying to figure out how can we, kind of make this work with the issue at hand. They're figuring out how can we actually fix the issue at hand. They're not dealing with symptoms. They're dealing with the disease, if that analogy makes sense.
For manufacturers and start seeing how we can help them drive quality and results immediately.
You're at CES actually this year. Unlike many companies and executives that decided to present virtually, I know that EVs are a big theme there. You've also got a partnership with Wejo, which is a connected car platform. Where are you expecting to see the most innovations on the EV front? What are you looking ahead to?
I really think about it as mobility, broadly speaking, everything from autonomous vehicles, electric vehicles, the connected vehicle data. You're seeing a big convergence there. And one of the huge themes it has for us has been leveraging the edge AI capabilities that we've been developing over the last few years. All of these connected devices are generating so much data. People are realizing that that's actually a problem. It's too much data to bring back from the vehicles themselves to the cloud. So how do you push the analytics to the edge?
Guys, edge is also used by armed forces, and essentially you don't have a need for cloud. Palantir is essentially its own cloud. It doesn't do cloud, but edge allows you to store and send data nearly instantly without relying on the cloud. By not relying on the cloud, they can do things that much faster and is that much more secure. And that's one of the things that makes Palantir so freaking animalistic, straight killers.
How do you start using those analytics in simulation? We think about the metaverse from a consumer's perspective most of the time, but really one of the more exciting applications are these digital twins, or as Wejo calls it, the meta twin that allows cities to look at and simulate what would happen if they changed how their traffic lights work based on this connected vehicle data that's streaming off, or allows EV manufacturers or AV autonomous vehicle companies to actually do more simulation to understand how they can get more safety under more environments and bring those to market more quickly. And we think there's going to be huge opportunities.
Fun fact, I did invest in Wejo. I have a position around $5,000 in them, including a couple of options. I did make a video about it, and I did speak to my private Patreon group. If you'd like to join the private Patreon group with our own private Telegram group, please click the link down below. It's very reasonable, and I am super active. We've been making some big boy plays, and plus we have a good time doing it. Wejo is an absolute animal, and let me give you guys this figure. They collect 20 times more data than Tesla, and Tesla collects 20 times more data than the next company.
Opportunity in that space. They launched their Neural Edge product at CES, and Foundry is a big part of that.
There's been some debate, Sham, about whether CES should have moved forward in person at all, given the spike in COVID cases, and some skepticism in general about how relevant CES still is. What's your perspective on that, given you're there at the conference this year? How much value do you think it really still has?
We've seen great opportunities from being here. Of course, people are being very safe and taking precautions, and that's changed the ways in which people are engaging. But I still see a lot of cutting edge innovation, great opportunities to engage with partners and build the future together.
Now, we're speaking about a year now since Palantir went public. Just looking at the stock, dropped by about 21% over the year, underperformed the S&P. Do you see that turning around in 2022? What's your outlook ahead?
We guided in Q4 to 40% growth in 21. Pretty excited about that. Pretty excited about the fundamentals of the business. Over $400 million of cash flow is our guide. So I think that the business is performing really well. And what we focus on is working our tail off to create value every single day. We're doing this for the long term. You think about a great company like Apple. They've been around 45 years. It took them 30 years to create the first $100 billion of value, 12 additional years to create the next trillion, and 3 years on top of that to create the subsequent 2 trillion. And so we plan to do this for a long time. We have a monastic focus on creating software that the world needs before the world knows it needs it. We plan to keep doing that, and we think that will be reflected in the long term.
Now, the CES is the Computer Electronics Show. It happened earlier this year in January. This was just posted today, so I think that this was actually an interview by our CEO earlier this year. That's why he's talking about the outlook for this year. Guys, you can see it's no secret that Palantir is an absolute monster, an absolute beast. You can see what they're doing. Just look at what they're saying and look at the companies that they're putting together. These are massive companies with massive endpoints of data, and they're able to set up their entire platform and get them working that much faster. Palantir has a bright future. Right now, Palantir is closer to the 52-week low than the 52-week high. However, everything goes by an S-curve. And you rather be buying at the bottom of the S-curve than right here, than the flat part or on the way up. That's the whole point. You can never time the market. You're always going to get cut. But what you could do is DCAing the dip. None of this is financial education. All of this is purely entertainment and educational purposes only. I believe in Palantir. I keep buying more any chance I get. Even though money is tight, I still buy in a couple of shares here and there. Bought another 50 shares the other day. Bought some more Wejo, bought some more Lilium. And if you want some more SPAC videos about Palantir, I do cover Lilium, L-I-L-M, and WeJourney, W-E-J-O. Both of those companies are SPACs. Those are the only two that I support so far under Palantir, and Palantir has supported over 12 SPACs that came out to market. Guys, thank you so much, and once again, I just want to give you guys a big shout out. I really appreciate you all. Thank you for the unbelievable support and making this channel what it is. I did make a video earlier today about Lilium if you want to watch it. They just did apply for the next step for European Aviation Authority to get their airplane certified. Thank you and have a great day.